It's always official and it's never about perfection.
I love that idea.
Good morning, everyone. You should be able to see everybody on your screen now. This is Kent, your minister, and it's good to have you with us this morning. For those of you who are visiting, I'm the Reverend Kent McCusick. My pronouns are he and him, and I'm an openly gay man serving as a minister to this fellowship. And I'm so glad to have you all with us this morning as we begin our service. This service is called Becoming the Rainbow. And it was originally prepared for a project through Iowan called Queering Your Faith, where once a month throughout the year, a UU congregation has shared their service with an LGBTQ theme on a Facebook page that made us more visible to the queer community. There was a time in my life when to be called queer was insulting or even fighting words. But the LGBTQIA+ community has embraced queer as an alternative, non-binary identity. We've claimed ourselves. Queering is a technique that came out of queer theory in the late 1980s. And it is used to challenge heteronormativity in text, literature, film, theater, and even religion. So no matter how you identify, I invite you this morning to queer your faith and trouble the waters of binary thinking and the oppressions of heteronormativity. It's good to be with you this morning. The board welcome this morning is by Sam Osee.
Good morning and welcome. My name is Sam Osee and I serve on your fellowship board of directors. I want to thank you all for being here today and extend a special welcome to any visitors joining us. Please stick around after the service for the virtual coffee hour in small breakout rooms where you may introduce yourself if you're comfortable and join in our conversation. If you would like more information about the fellowship, please sign the virtual guest book on our website, uufames.org, under the Visitors tab. The fellowship continues to monitor the Story County COVID positive test rate via covidactnow.org. When these rates are over 15%, all in-person activities for the UUFA immediately transition to virtual only for at least the next 7 days. This includes Sunday services, religious education, meetings, special events, and external groups that use the building. This determination is made every Wednesday and shared on the UUFA website and via the Friday weekly email. As you may know, the positive test rate this week is over 30%. We are thankful that you have chosen to join us from your homes, and we look forward to the time when we can gather in person again at the fellowship. When that is possible, we'll continue to offer streaming services as well. For now, please remember to check for virtual gatherings at uufa.org. We greatly appreciate all of you for continuing to do your part keeping our community safe and healthy by wearing masks, social distancing, being vaccinated, and getting boosters when appropriate. While it is hard to remain apart for so long, we continue our commitment to provide a safe environment for all who call our fellowship home. So, on behalf of this caring, nurturing congregation, I welcome each and every one of you to this sacred space. Here we invite you into an experience of transformation, hope, renewal, and connections, which may inspire you to understand life in new ways. Thank you for joining us today.
As we begin our service together this morning, I invite you to take a deep breath and relax into the sound of the ringing of this chime 3 times. Once to wake the chime, once to open our minds, and once to open our hearts. We tender this flame, opening the book, turning to a page yet to be written, opening a story yet to be told. May we fill this fresh page wisely. May we write a new story into being. May we together inscribe this page with hope. The opening song this morning is from the classic film, The Wizard of Oz. This is Somewhere Over the Rainbow, sung by Judy Garland.
Place where there isn't any trouble. Do you suppose there is such a place, Toto? There must be. It's not a place you can get to by a boat or a train. It's far, far away. Behind the moon, beyond the rain. You dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Our Time for All Ages this morning was written by Justin Richardson and Peter Parnell, with illustrations by Henry Cole. And one of the things that makes this story, And Tango Makes Three, so special is that it's true. Read by Michael Kinsell. This is And Tango Makes Three.
In the middle of New York City, there is a great big park called Central Park. Children love to play there. It has a toy boat pond where they can sail their boats. It has a carousel to ride on in the summer and an ice rink to skate on in the winter. Best of all, it has its very own zoo. Every day, families of all kinds go to visit the animals that live there. But children and their parents aren't the only families of the zoo. The animals make families of their own. There are red panda bear families with mothers and fathers, and furry red panda bear cubs. There are monkey dads and monkey moms raising noisy monkey babies. There are toad families and toucan families and cotton-top tamarin families too. And in the penguin house, there are penguin families. Every year at the same time, the girl penguins start to notice the boy penguins, and the boy penguins start noticing the girls. When the right girl and the right boy find each other, they become a couple. Two penguins in the penguin house were a little bit different. One was named Roy, and the other was named Silo. Roy and Silo were both boys, but they did everything together. They bowed to each other and walked together. They sang to each other and swam together. Wherever Roy went, Silo went too. They didn't spend much time with the girl penguins, and the girl penguins didn't spend much time with them. Instead, Roy and Silo wound their necks around each other. Their keeper, Mr. Gramsci, noticed the two penguins and thought to himself, they must be in love. Roy and Silo watched how the other penguins made a home, so they built a nest of stones for themselves. Every night, Roy and Silo slept there together, just like the other penguin couples. And every morning, Roy and Silo woke up together. But one day, Roy and Silo saw that the other couples could do something they could not. The mama penguin would lay an egg. She and the papa penguin would take turns keeping the egg warm until finally it would hatch. And then there would be a baby penguin. Roy and Silo had no egg to sit on and keep warm. They had no baby chick to feed and cuddle and love. Their nest was nice, but it was a little empty. One day, Roy found something that looked like what the other penguins were hatching, and he brought it to their nest. It was only a rock, but Silo carefully sat on it, and sat, and sat. When Silo got sleepy, he slept. And when Silo was done sleeping and sitting, he swam, and Roy sat. Day after day, Silo and Roy sat on the rock, but nothing happened. Then Mr. Gramsci got an idea. He found an egg that needed to be cared for, and he brought it to Roy and Silo's nest. Roy and Silo knew just what to do. They moved the egg to the center of their nest. Every day they turned it, so each side stayed warm. Some days, Roy sat while Silo went for food. Other days it was Silo's turn to take care of their egg. He sat in the morning, and they sat at night. They sat through lunchtime, and swim time, and supper. They sat at the beginning of the month, and they sat at the end of the month. And they sat all of the days in between. Until one day, they heard a sound coming from inside their egg. Peep, 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 it said. Roy and Silo called back, squawk, squawk. Peep, peep, answered the egg. Suddenly, a tiny hole appeared in the egg's shell. And then, crack! Out came their very own baby. She had fuzzy white feathers, and a funny black beak. Now Roy and Silo were fathers. "We'll call her Tango," Mr. Gramsci decided, because it takes two to make a tango. Roy and Silo taught Tango how to sing for them when she was hungry. They fed her food from their beaks. They snuggled her in their nest at night. Tango was the very first penguin in the zoo to have two daddies. Soon Tango grew strong enough to leave the nest. Roy and Silo took her for a swim, just like all the other penguin families. And all the children who came to the zoo could see Tango and her two fathers playing in the penguin house with the other penguins. "Hooray, Roy! Hooray, Silo! Welcome, Tango," they cheered. At night, the three penguins returned to their nest. There they snuggled together and, like all the other penguins in the penguin house, and all the other animals in the zoo, and all the families in the big city around them, they went to sleep.
The offertory recipient for January is the Mid-Iowa Community Action Food Pantry, also known as MICA. MICA is a nonprofit organization serving children and families living in poverty in central Iowa. MICA is part of a national community action network that helps low-income people achieve self-sufficiency through better jobs, stable housing and food, and early childhood education. You can learn more about MICA by going to micaonline.org. And to give your offering to support the work of this important organization, at the end of the service, please go to uufames.org, the Giving tab. And we are ever thankful for your support of helping people and changing lives. Each week, we take time in our service to pause and share milestones from our lives, if you choose to share. Milestones being something significant that's occurring that is bringing us joy or challenge or gratitude. As I open the room, please feel free to unmute yourself. If you can raise your hand using the button at the bottom, I can recognize that. And introduce yourself, share your milestone, and let us know when you're done. This is our time of sharing.
This is Sam Wormley. I would like to have you light a candle for Carol Horowitz, who died this last week. She started the Ames Children's Theater, and it's been active for 52 years. And one of the things that she always said is, "We are changing lives." Thank you.
As you know, this is Kent. As you know, we lost an iconic spiritual leader this week, Thich Nhat Hanh. And I'd like to share just a very brief prayer by Micah Busse, who is an interdenominational minister who has written a book of tiny prayers, which this is what he wrote for the passing of Thich Nhat Hanh. Thank you for your gentle, steady breath, for your gentle, steady flow of loving kindness, for your gentle, steady reminders to still ourselves and quiet the voices that demand that we do more than simply be. And as we mourn your passing and celebrate your life, May we all offer kindness to ourselves and to one another as we breathe, love, and above all, simply, steadily, gently be. I would welcome other milestones this morning. Yes.
This is Matt in Oklahoma City. I every once in a while kind of keep you up to date on my seminary journey, and Reverend Kent at the before I even got started said that if you don't have a crisis of faith every quarter, you're probably not doing it right. Excuse me. I'm in that space right now. It's not a lack of faith. It's a crisis of faith, and they're different. So I just wanted to reach out to you in candor, and to honor what Milestones is about, to share this journey that I'm taking, very much with all of you, my heart, even though I only know you this way, but I care about you this way, and I carry you this way in that journey. So if you pray, I appreciate prayers. Just know that there's somebody out there who's trying to carry on the tradition of service. So thank you. I know that was long. I'm done.
Thanks, Matt. Dennis?
Yes, Dennis Dake. I'd like to have a candle lit for my brother Ron. He's one of my younger brothers, and he spent the last 3 weeks in the hospital up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota with COVID, and has been on oxygen the entire time, and now they've allowed him to go home. He's still on oxygen, but his wife and 2 of his sons and their wives are looking after him and providing him with support in person. So we're pleased to hear that after several scary weeks where he was in need of an incubator even. But anyway, I'd like to write it for the happy news that he's now well enough to go home. That's all.
Are there any other milestones this morning? We pause in silence together, acknowledging, affirming, and appreciating that this is a community of love. However, wherever we meet, we reach out to each other, we support each other. For those milestones that have been shared this morning, or for those carried silently and carefully and gently in our hearts, know that whatever brought you here this morning, whatever you are carrying, you are not alone in this community of faith and love, and that you are loved. Let's share a moment of silence together. It is good to be together.
The first reading this morning comes from The Zen of Oz by Joey Green. The reader is Dr. James Perrin, who also happens to be my spouse.
The decisions life throws in your path aren't always as important as they may seem. Should you take the scenic route or the highway? Should you go to this college or that college? Should you take the job or not take the job? The decisions themselves are immaterial. What matters is that you make the choice, that you have the courage to move forward. If you are paralyzed by indecision, you become stagnant, dull, lifeless, just like the scarecrow stuck on his pole. If you turn around and race back to the safety and security of Munchkinland, you regress, degenerate, deteriorate. Only by moving forward, only by braving the unknown, experiencing uncertainty and opening yourself up to the infinite possibilities, do you realize your dreams, find your heart's desire, and discover freedom and fulfillment. When you step into the unknown, you are on the right path, the road less traveled. Besides, you never traveled the yellow brick road alone. Dorothy's passion for self-discovery becomes contagious. She inspires the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion, and even the Wizard himself to join her quest for self-fulfillment and unblock the barriers they have created to the naturally harmonious, abundant, and loving flow of the universe. Dorothy inspires her comrades by pointing out that they have nothing to lose but their unhappiness. She journeys down the yellow brick road while staying open to the harmonious forces in the universe that will unfold before her. No matter which fork she takes, no matter who her companions are, no matter what obstacles are placed in her path, Dorothy will ultimately be returned to Kansas once she puts herself in tune with the creative energy of the universe. As the ancient Zen saying puts it, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
The second reading this morning is Finding Our Dreams by Teresa Niñan Soto. The reader is Sarah Carlson.
This poem is inspired by the words from Georgia O'Keeffe. We haven't found enough dreams. We haven't dreamed enough. Here's Teresa's poem. The world makes many demands on your time, your skin, your heart, until you are left gasping and wondering if you will ever do enough, have enough, be enough. Stop your counting, measuring, and checking. You are enough. So much more than enough, made from fragments of the galaxy. You do measure up. And to recover from the doubt pressed upon you, the antidote for doubt is dreaming. All the dreams that call to you, lime green and frosting pink dreams that run blue to gray, sky indistinguishable from lulling sea. The dreams that seem impossible, listen, that's their nature. If they had already happened, then they would be realities, solid and smooth, like the round bone home of an unbroken egg. Be brave enough to name your dream, nurture it, and allow the rhythm of your breath to bring your dreams to life.
Our special music is Becoming Me by Leah Morris.
Who I am today will not be who I am tomorrow, and who I am tomorrow will keep changing every day. And all the things I learned might fill my heart with joy or sorrow, and everything I learned might make me want to change my ways. Oh, there is nothing, no thing that ever stays the same. That is the one thing, one thing that life does guarantee. There is no one on earth, no one who knows what path their life will take, and no one knows what I will see as I keep becoming me. The family you were raised in does not dictate who you marry, and the country you were born in won't decide where you are buried, and all you once believed might leave you stranded on an island where the only way back home is to abandon it as lies. And there is nothing, no thing that ever stays the same. That is the one thing, one thing that life does guarantee. There is no one on earth, no one who knows what path their life will take, and no one knows what I will see as I keep becoming me. The family you were raised in does not dictate who you marry, and the country you were born in won't decide where you are buried, and all you once believed might leave you stranded on an island where the only way back home is to abandon it as lies. And there is nothing, no thing that ever stays the same. That is the one thing, one thing no one on earth, no one who knows where their life will lead, what path their life will take, and no one knows what I will see as I keep becoming me, becoming me. I must stay open to the change, curious and free, and always ready to be rearranged. There is nothing that ever stays the same. That is the one thing that life does guarantee. There is no one on earth, no one who knows what course their life will take, and no one knows who I will be as I keep becoming me, as I keep becoming me, as I keep becoming me, as I keep becoming.
From the Tao Te Ching. When they think that they know answers, people are difficult to guide. When they know they don't, people can find their own way. We are all on a spiritual path of some kind. We might think of the yellow brick road as Dorothy's and our spiritual path, her free and responsible search for truth and meaning, for self-discovery, to serve others as a warrior for truth, meaning, compassion, and justice. In The Wizard of Oz as a parable, Steve Adams describes Dorothy as each of us. Since everything external is symbolic of everything internal, the characters that accompany Dorothy are all parts of herself that need to develop. The external tornado reflects the one inside her. The whole of herself is thrown into deep questioning and begins her quest for meaning. I grew up with The Wizard of Oz. I watched it faithfully once a year for many years in black and white before color TV was readily available. I remember identifying with the different characters at different times in my life. When I was being bullied and wanted to run away, I longed for a life like Dorothy somewhere over the rainbow, where dreams can come true. When I struggled with math and science, and English and math and science, I felt stupid. I longed for a brain that would work so that I could meet the highest expectations of others. Since I was categorized as being unable to be physical, the compensation imposed on me was the expectation of being intelligent and earning high grades. I made alternate plans that included playful, physical fun and the arts, breaking the mold of expectation on my way to becoming the rainbow. There were a few years that I was blustery and snarly to keep people distant from my fear and vulnerability because I was seen as different. I was different. I didn't know what that meant at the time, but I was different. I carried a lot of fear and pretended to be courageous, not knowing that people experienced 5-year-old to young adult me as someone who had the courage to not give up, a survivor of the pandemic known as polio when I was 3 years old. I didn't recognize my own strength and will to become my own authentic me. In The Zen of Oz, Joey Green writes, for someone who insists he doesn't have a brain, the Scarecrow has been giving an awful lot of thought to what he would think about if he did have one. I'd think of things I never thunk before, he reveals, and then I'd sit and think some more. As a conscious being, the only thing you need to find happiness is to perceive clearly who you are. Being upset about what you don't have wastes what you do have. The very fact that the Scarecrow craves wisdom means that he already has smarts. As Dorothy and her companions follow the yellow brick road through a dark and creepy forest, the Scarecrow says, of course I don't know, but I think it'll get darker before it gets lighter. The Scarecrow is actually offering a keen philosophical insight. An ontological confrontation with nothingness precedes the discovery of one's existential authority. Or as the Tao Te Ching sums it up so simply, the path into the light seems dark. It is interesting to observe that when he isn't obsessing about not having a brain, he is able to solve problems quickly. How Dorothy can get him off the pole, using reverse psychology on the mean apple trees who won't give away apples, but will throw them when provoked. Or suggesting that they wear the guards' uniforms to be able to sneak into the castle of the Wicked Witch. Of the Tin Man, Joey Green writes, without knowing it, the Tin Man touches in a positive way the lives of nearly everyone he touches, everyone he meets. His generosity is so genuine. He doesn't even realize that he does nothing all day but perform loving acts of kindness. And that, as the wizard insists, is what having a heart is all about. Not until Dorothy says goodbye does the Tin Man suddenly realize he will no longer be able to receive the joy of giving love to Dorothy. He laments, now I know I have a heart because it's breaking. With this, we recognize that the love, sympathy, appreciation, compassion, countenance, and affection you receive are in direct proportion to the love, sympathy, appreciation, compassion, countenance, and affection you give. The wizard is essentially telling the Tin Man the same thing Zen poets have been telling the world for centuries. What goes round comes round. Have you ever known or been a cowardly lion, covering self-doubt or fear with a false show of power and control? In the competitive and often cutthroat corporate world, there are a lot of cowardly lions. As a banker, I was in the world of success being defined by numbers. Brought into that culture, having been identified as having strong relationship skills, I struggled to find the balance between customer service and profitability in a very conservative-driven institution. And yet, the leadership recognized and supported my need to be active in the local arts community. And later, in the Unitarian Universalist community, where I rediscovered my spiritual center and purpose in life. I reconnected with what made me come alive. What still to this day makes me come alive. The arts, being true to my authentic self, connecting with a spiritual and covenantal community of Unitarian Universalism, and serving the wider community with like-minded people committed to love and justice. How did the lion find his courage? Green writes, when the lion discovers that Dorothy is being held prisoner in the witch's castle, his love for her overpowers his fears. In a flash, the lion discovers his higher self, recognizes his unique talent, and impulsively decides to use his strengths to save Dorothy. As the Zen sage Lao Tzu wrote, because of deep love, one is courageous. In the annotated Wizard of Oz, Michael Hearn observes, in one sense, Dorothy's three companions embody the three basic qualities: brain, heart, and courage, that Dorothy must cultivate within herself, just as the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion must do so individually. Friends, we are all on a journey to cultivate the basic qualities of brain, heart, and courage, individually and in community. Many of the earliest questions I had about life and living were inspired by the story of Dorothy's journey through a threatening world, trying to find her way home. As you follow your own yellow brick road, may your experience be a journey of self-discovery. May you realize, know, and understand what you have always possessed. And may you remember the words of Reverend Teresa Soto. Be brave enough to name your dream. Nurture it and allow the rhythm of your breath to bring your dreams to life. May it be so. Amen. And blessed be.
Our closing song today is Life Calls Us On, music by Jason Shelton, lyrics by Kendall Gibbons, sung by the UU Choir of Baton Rouge.
Take courage, friends.
The way is often hard.
The path is never clear.
And the stakes are very high.
Take courage.
For deep down,
there is another truth.
You are not alone.
Here in reverence now we gather for the blessings we have known, with a pledge to one another that we journey not alone.
Take courage, friends.
Take courage, friends.
Take courage, friends.
You are not alone.
You are not alone.
You are not alone.
Loyal guides in love and duty, lead us with a trusted light. Blessed are they whose inward beauty shows the path of truth and right. Honor is their earthly prize. By their works we realize faith calls us on. Faith calls us on. We have shared a radiant hour when the truth has made us free, and the Spirit's gracious power dreamed of good that yet shall be. Right the path before us lies. Joyful pilgrims now we rise. Life calls us on. 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 Life calls us on.
With the extinguishing of this chalice, I offer the closing words by the Reverend Sean Parker Dennison. Benediction. At this moment of ending, may there be a good word, a blessing, to help us remember what we have so often forgotten. May the message we need be gently spoken and held in the spaces in ourselves, the fibers that hold all we need to maintain our gentleness, our courage, and our hope. At this moment of ending, may the goodness we wish for ourselves and each other, this community, ecosystem, planet, and the stardust galaxy, become such a part of us that we cannot tell where the blessing ends and we begin.
Thank you for being with us this morning. It's been a pleasure to be together, coming into your homes from Fellowship Hall. Go into breakout rooms for a virtual coffee hour, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and stay safe.